have you been wondering what tech news was announced this week? And have you been watching the latest business talk? Because there's so much going on. And well, if not, don't worry, because you come to the right place. Welcome to In the Loop with Winnie and Greg. I'm Winnie's son, longtime financial pro, CNBC council member, Forbes contributor, and host of Level Up, which is also on NASDAQ and a few other places. Happy Thursday to you. You know what? I feel like this is one of the best days of the week, right? We've been busy, but I'm so glad to be here with you.
Yes, absolutely. And you said Thursday. It feels like Friday to me. I don't know why, but I keep thinking that all day long. It is Thursday. And hello, everyone. I am Greg Nibbler. Thank you so much for joining us here. I've been a tech journalist, a reporter. I worked for the NBA, done a podcast, you name it, all kinds of different things over the years. And really happy to be here and be part of this show. And if this is your first time watching, thanks for joining us. If you're a longtime watcher, thanks for being back. And we've got some fun things to talk about. Things kind of slow down a little bit around this time of year, but some actually really fun topics that came up in tech this week that we're going to be going over here in just a little bit. And as always, we want to hear what you think, what your comments are, whatever platform you're watching on. Let us know as we go throughout this show, and let us know if you have questions, all of that. But I know Winnie here always starts us off with what's going on in the world of finances and business and makes it nice and easy to understand. And I'm really curious to know what's going on this week, because I've noticed a lot of fluctuations in things. I don't know what that means or what that has to do with anything, but I've noticed some things, at least on my Robinhood account. So,
Greg, I just love this conversation we're having. I feel like the more time we spend together, the more financially savvy you're getting, which is so
slowly
awesome.
Working.
I know. I mean, soon I'll be having to ask you about my taxes and whatnot. But let's start with the market. Let's start with the market. And yeah, I actually, Greg, with that note, I mean, we're going to holidays. I have some fun financial news for us too. But let's let you know how the market closed. It's actually pretty interesting. The Dow closed down 60 points. The NASDAQ closed up 72 points. We're happy to hear that. The S&P up 15 as well. So that's great. Here's what we know though. I mean, across the, we're going to the holidays, and so there's not a lot of the traditional financial news. I mean, we had a couple companies go public, some reported earnings, but here's what I think you should be paying attention to. And that is that, as you know, things are getting a lot more expensive, and it's certainly not your imagination. In fact, the concerns are causing such weakness in the stock market and giving us, like you mentioned earlier, some volatility. And so I suspect we're going to see a lot more of that as we go into the holidays. But in fact, today, John Williams, who is the president of the New York Federal Reserve Bank, said that inflation is becoming more broad-based, and that his expectations is that we're going to actually see further increases on more things going forward. So I thought I'd do a little research, and I thought you might be interested to learn that the U.S. Farm Bureau actually reports that the cost of Thanksgiving dinner next week, let's just say if you were to have 10 people around the table, is actually going to cost 14% over last year. So that's going to be an average increase of cost about more than $50 per dinner. So pretty dramatic. So how they came up with this, Greg, I know you're wondering. I mean, it depends on, Greg, what do you think? I mean, are you making Thanksgiving this year?
I'm not actually doing the cooking this year, but I mean, 14%, that's a lot. That adds up.
A lot.
I mean, that's quite a bit. So yeah, I don't quite know how they calculate that or what they take into for those factors. I mean, what are the standards for Thanksgiving? I guess maybe go off of those and figure it out from there. But yeah, that seems like quite a bit.
That seems like a lot. I mean, $50 more for a meal seems like kind of dramatic.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about fancy, right? We're talking about your standard Thanksgiving meal. So the Farm Bureau, this is what they said. They calculated things like turkey, stuffing mix, sweet potato, rolls with butter, peas, cranberries, like the real standard stuff. We're not talking like filet mignon here, but the turkey itself, they said, actually is going to cost more than 24% more. So that's a bulk. Yeah, that's a lot more. That's a 25% bigger turkey. Nope, same price turkey, just a lot more money. So I don't know about you, but for those of you who are tuning in, I'm curious to see if you've started, sort of buying your Thanksgiving goods. Because let me tell you, I actually, we just got our Costco done this week. And yeah, I definitely saw the price increase there. The other thing is, I'll report to you is that the Labor Department also reported numbers today. And I thought that was important to know also, because as of the week ending last week, November 13th, we also saw an uptick in Americans filing for unemployment. Now, this number was a little bit higher than expected. So 268,000 Americans versus we're expecting about 260,000. Unfortunately, going into the holidays, they are filing unemployment. But nonetheless, let's go to some positive news. And Greg, I was totally channeling you on the next three stories. Okay. I was like, oh, Greg's going to love what I'm going to share today. Okay. So I've been reading, of course, on one of my favorite companies to study, and that is on Apple. So you may have heard that Apple wants to make an all-electric self-driving vehicle. I'm sure Greg has talked to us about this. So they said by early 2025. What's really exciting about this to me, though, Greg, is, I mean, I would say there's a lot of things I like to do. Driving is probably not even close to the top 25% of things I like to do. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, I can drive and I can drive pretty quickly. Doesn't mean I really love to do, but what's really interesting about this is that they said that by 2025, they're going to have a self-driving car that isn't going to have a steering wheel or pedals. So this will be like the first ever of this type of vehicle. And of course, Greg, I've heard you say this, like there's technology that, there's self-driving cars already, but, they sort of, test them out in the desert or somewhere really, really safe, but it hasn't really gone mainstream yet. I mean, honestly, part of me is really excited, but I'm really curious to see what you think about that too.
Yeah, I mean, with Apple, this has kind of been the rumor for a long time. You always hear this, that they're working on their own line of vehicles. They're working on this. They were working on their own televisions for a while, like all kinds of things. But especially when it comes to the cars, there's speculation and there's talk that they tried to buy Tesla at one point, and Elon Musk has talked about that with him and Tim Cook. But as far as actually making one and actually putting it out there, I think that's going to be a pretty major move, even for a company like Apple, although certainly they have the money and the infrastructure to do that. But how are they doing that, and who are they hiring to do it? And on top of that, to actually have a completely driverless vehicle on the road, because right now there are a lot of cars out there that are autonomous driving that are being tested, especially in places like California and Texas and Florida, places that have generally good weather. And eventually those are going to come to a lot of other places too. But to remove the steering wheel completely, so there's no way, there's no, just stopgap in case something goes wrong, the machine goes crazy and somebody needs to physically, break it or turn it. That's a big leap. And that I just don't know if that's something that's going to be fully, not that it's not achievable technology wise, but to actually put something like that on the roads and have all the laws passed for that would be surprising to me if they had it just as like something that's just roaming around on the streets. I just don't see the regulations getting there in time for that to happen.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. I'm curious to see what you thought. I saw the comment come in from Brian Schumann joining us from LinkedIn Live saying the Jetsons are here. And in fact, that's what I was thinking too, Brian. I was like, yeah, the Jetsons certainly are here, right? All right. Well, there's more news. And I thought, Greg, last week we were talking about all things red. I actually wore red that day. Pure coincidence, but I have some positive red news to share with you, buddy. And that is that today is officially Starbucks' Red Cup Day. So, you may have heard of Red Cup Day 2021. It is officially here. So for those of you who, you like this cup, it's super cute, you might want one, today you can actually get one for free. So Starbucks is giving away a limited edition reusable red cup. And this is as long as you order a special handcrafted holiday or fall beverage. So I wrote down some of these. This is like peppermint mocha was one, chestnut praline, lattes, and one I actually thought was pretty cool. I don't know if you know this, but I'm not a big caffeine person. So they even have this sugar cookie almond milk latte. I know you and I kind of talked about this before we jumped in. Probably too much sugar. Probably would. The
crash would be terrible off of something like that.
Yeah.
I know me. If I had something with that much sugar, I drink coffee. I'm drinking some coffee right now, and I usually do what I'm doing on air. Anything on air. But I'm more of it's just black coffee. It's fuel to do what I need. And like, I don't add too much flavoring in or anything. Some of those sound good. I don't know about a sugar cookie, but a free cup. See, now that's where you get me in. Like I always like the free stuff. So I would, now I'm considering going down to Starbucks after this show.
You might as well. It's interesting because we went to like the Hyatt, what we talked about last show.
Yeah.
And like I actually, so Hyatt was nice enough to give me this credit. So I went to their little store and I bought a Starbucks cup. My husband was so happy because I guess he's really into his Starbucks cups. And I guess he lost the lid for his red cup and he was just talking about. So when we got it, I mean, I guess if you are really into Starbucks cups, this is one that you might want to get. I don't know. I mean, free is maybe not so bad. Now, you might say, well, what could go well with that? So I actually did a little bit more research and I thought this was interesting too. Now, whether you go there or not, still good to know. McDonald's is actually letting you do something today. They're going to let you score their original breakfast sandwich today. So in honor of the sandwich's 50th anniversary, they say that they actually came up with the quote unquote first ever quick service restaurant breakfast sandwich. So they're going to do the TBT price or throwback, Thursday price of 63 cents for their Egg McMuffin sandwich. Now you got to order it via your mobile app, but hey, if you're going to go to Starbucks and get your coffee, maybe you do this too, and then pick up your sandwich and get some protein.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I mean, this is financial news you can use, Greg.
Right. Yeah. Saving money right there. I mean, you can't afford not to go get it at that price. I mean, you really have to go do it. Yeah. So what is on the original? Did they say what the original one was? Was it sausage? Was it?
I think so. I mean, I guess it's
Sorry, I know I'm throwing that. Yeah. Like I was just curious what the original one was.
This is very important research, Greg. We need to do. So I'm thinking it's English muffin. I know there's an egg, right? Because it's an Egg McMuffin. And I think there's a cheese and like a piece of ham, from what I understand.
Okay.
But what's interesting about this too is, of course, you would say, well, who would actually, maybe nobody's paying attention to this, but actually there was an outage on the app earlier this morning because so many people wanted their 63-cent Egg McMuffin breakfast sandwich.
I mean, I can see how that could happen. They are delicious. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm not going to say they're good for you, but if I'm going to go for a breakfast sandwich, that's probably what I'm going to go for.
Okay.
I'm going for a fast food breakfast sandwich.
Okay. And, for the sake of research, just so you know, our producer Curtis has said egg, cheese, and Canadian bacon.
Okay.
On an English muffin. I mean, that sounds like a full meal right there.
I'd go with the sausage instead of the Canadian bacon, but otherwise I'm right there.
But I wonder if you could do this switch. I mean, for 63 cents, Greg, I feel like you got to take one for the Canadian bacon.
Yeah. You probably do. Probably no switching it up. So that's okay. I'll do that. I'll take one for the team.
Yeah. Brian is saying, I feel like Brian would do that. Brian, I'm sure there's a lot of McDonald's in San Diego, and then you could pick up your Starbucks. It's almost like you would go like, look, I don't know. It's gotta be very convenient.
You got to map it out ahead of time. You got to have a game plan.
Google map it out.
If one is too long, where's the next one to go to? Yeah, there's a lot of strategy that would have to go.
I like your thinking, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's going on with tech? What do we got?
All right. Well, it's 50th anniversary of the McDonald's sandwich. It was
Happy birthday.
Another anniversary this week, and that is the 20th anniversary of Xbox. 20 years ago on November 15th. That is when, in 2001, that's when the original Xbox was announced by Microsoft. And it's kind of weird to think that it's only 20 years. It feels like Xbox has been around forever, but also it's been 20 years. That's a long time. So this was back in November 15th, 2001. Bill Gates came out, announced, their jump into console gaming, going from PC gaming, jumping into console gaming. They had The Rock there at the original one, and The Rock was actually there on this week for the 20th anniversary. So he's tied into Xbox forever for these anniversaries. Yeah, so 20 years, and a lot of what they did, they had a kind of big presentation, talking about the history of it, some of the different things throughout the years. But they did have some actual announcements that came out with this that I think people would be really interested in, especially if you're a gamer. Now, Halo was one of the original games on the Xbox, and Halo.
I remember that. That was a really popular game.
Super popular. I mean, even if you never played it or didn't have an Xbox, probably someone's heard of Halo. You know, a
Right.
Halo, that original one turned into different iterations on different consoles over the years, and it's always been one of the most successful things that they've ever done. And the new one, the new Halo Infinite, which is coming out on the Xbox Series X and Series S, that's coming out, I think, December 8th or 18th. I may have mixed those up. But anyway, it's coming up soon. December 8th, I believe. I'll put my money on that one. So December 8th is when that comes out. But ahead of that, there's actually something for everybody that can go play right now, and that is the Halo Multiplayer Online Edition. So that's out, and it's free for people with Xboxes and PC gaming. You can also do it and jump on. It gives you a good way to kind of get into the game before the actual standalone game comes out. But I thought that was
like a trailer game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can play it. It'll lead up, and I guess some of the things that you do in there will actually help you when the standalone version comes out, when the actual story version of the game comes out. So it's something they're giving to all these fans, you know, to be like, hey, here you go. And they're calling it by season. So this is season 1. They're going to do it the whole way that everybody else does it. So there'll be different seasons of multiplayer playing online. But yeah, you can finally get back in there and start playing this thing, because this new Halo has been delayed. It's been talked about forever and ever and ever, and finally there's something really out there for people to play.
Super cool.
Yeah,
Greg, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, like I'll be honest with you, I never play Halo, but I do see those like plastic Halo action figures at different parts of my house sometimes. I guess my husband must have played it quite a bit. So, but I do see Cross X Fighters joining us on YouTube live. He's saying he's more of a Nintendo person, but he's heard about Xbox certainly. And I see Brian Schumann is very excited about Xbox. I mean, are you going to play, Brian? I know Brian, Brian, I call him the godfather of LinkedIn. The guy is legendary in LinkedIn. Tell me, Brian, I mean, I'm curious to see if you're going to play this. Greg, do you play Halo?
I'm more of a PlayStation person, but this is definitely on my list. I don't have the newest Xbox myself right now, but that's
got a PC, right? So
yeah, I've got a PlayStation. So that's kind of where I've been putting it in since Halo's not on PlayStation, but this is still pretty cool. I could play it. Yeah, I could definitely play it on PC. So that's something that I may end up doing. The thing is, though, you mentioned, seeing the Halo action figures around. You're going to hear a lot more about Halo over the next couple of years, and even sooner than that, because Microsoft is doubling down on all this other stuff for Halo, and that includes a live action television series, which is coming out on Paramount sometime next year. And so that's going to be happening. They're spinning this into so many different things. You're not going to be able to get away from Halo. And I'm seeing some notes here come in that it's free. So I should be playing it. My PC gaming setup, I'll be honest, it's not the greatest setup that I've got, but it's free, so why not? I should be on there playing it.
If it's free.
I just need to find some time. That's more the issue.
You know what? Yeah, Greg, I feel like our time is used for other things. So maybe we leave the gaming to those of you who are playing, maybe you could play for us to let us know what you think. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Greg will be too busy. Birdie tells me you're going to be too busy next month to play.
Right.
So.
I mean, well, this could be a good, Thanksgiving weekend kind of thing. If you can take some time off.
I'm working on my taxes Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh man.
Bummer.
Yeah, I need to do that too.
Sadiq is a PlayStation person too. Very, very cool.
Yeah. So that was one of the announcements. The other thing, okay, so this is something else. And I think for anybody out there who is a console gamer and has been for some time, it's one of those things that we all want, and it's backwards compatibility. So that means your games that are on your old consoles that you used to love, as you start buying new consoles, those games don't work on there. You can't play them with them. And Xbox is addressing some of that, and they announced 70 titles that are now going to be more titles anyway, that are going to be backwards compatible. So if you have something from your Xbox 360, like Duke Nukem or whatever game, they have a whole bunch of them that you really like, you're going to be able to play those on the newer series. And I really like that, because it's one of the most frustrating things, I feel like, getting a new console. If you have those games that you still want to hold on to and go back and visit, and then you can't play them, you got to bring out your old console or hold on to it. Now, a bunch of those, you can just have them be playable on the newer consoles. Because otherwise, it's a lot of money that you invest. If you're, $50, $60 a game, sometimes you want to be able to use those over the years. And so that I thought was a pretty cool announcement as well. adding that in
Yeah.
there.
That is a really cool announcement. I mean, that's like anything to recycle, right? So
yeah, and not have to buy it again in a different version or anything like that. Just have it there ready to play. So yeah, that was part of that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool. So I think anybody out there with old consoles will understand that one. So yeah, it was interesting to see what they had, you know, and how they're talking about it. And I expect more and more coming up here for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, that a couple other things in tech too that I wanted to bring up. And again, you know, coming up to the holidays, things kind of slow down just like they do in a lot of industries. Next week's going to be crazy with Black Friday deals. So we'll be talking about that on Monday. But this kind of hits a few different things for me as far as VR, AR, and history all in one. I really like historical, like reading about history, reading about things, especially like things like ancient Greece. And this is Microsoft again. It's all Microsoft this week, almost. But Microsoft, they teamed up. We're going to talk about that one coming up. So this is Ancient Olympia. It's called Common Grounds. So here's what this is.
What is this?
It's a website, and it's an AR program if you're in a certain place where you can use this. So Microsoft teamed up with the Hellenic Ministry of Sports and Culture. Maybe I got that right. Maybe I didn't. They teamed up with
Greece.
I
could read that down below. I wish I knew what it said.
Yeah, that's Greek that they've got
if
right
you
there.
Can read it, translate it for us and tell
please.
us.
In real time. So what they did is they teamed up with a couple of other companies. I think Iconim was one of them. And they went to the original Olympic grounds in Greece. And they use very, very high-end technology, a lot of different ways to scan everything on there. So they scan these, and what this company does is they specialize in digitally recreating ancient sites for archaeological purposes, for educational purposes, entertainment, you name it. And you can kind of see what they're doing there. So they scan the grounds, and then using historical facts, consulting with historians, and using just AI, they reconstructed what all these buildings actually look like.
That is so cool.
Right? Like, that's really cool to me to see what that would have looked like, 2,000 years ago when we were having these Olympic Games. And
that is so cool.
I think it's so fun seeing that kind of thing, and just, seeing what it would have looked like. Yeah, you've got the temple to Zeus, a bunch of temples. They said 27 different sites, and you can do this right now wherever you are via an app on your phone. You can actually go explore this. It's free to do. Look up Ancient Olympia in either the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. It'll pop right up, and you can download the app. I've been doing it. You can either go through the app, you can overlay it in front of your living room or something like that, and go through and check all this out. All kinds of historical facts about it. It's like endless exploring that you can do in this. Or there's a website. You can go through the web portal as well if you don't want to do it on your phone. So lots of ways to access it. The best, though, is if you can actually get there. They have a Microsoft HoloLens 2 tour that you can use. So the HoloLens from Microsoft are their augmented reality glasses. They're generally used for like commercial purposes. They're very high-end AR, so they overlay things in front of you. But if you're there, you can rent these and walk around the grounds and then have it, build right in front of you when you're actually looking at the ruins of the temple. And have it come back up. So all kinds of really cool stuff.
That is incredible. Yeah. I mean, what a cool thing to do over the holidays. You can download this app. I mean, and show. That's incredible. Because I remember, not that long ago, we went to Italy and went to see the Colosseum, right? And like parts of it were broken up. But imagine if you couldn't do that, especially now, you could like literally see via AR. That's incredible. Yeah. What an experience.
And that's why I would hope, that this would. Maybe this will spur for some other sites to do this kind of thing too. And I'm sure there are some other sites that are working on things like this, or maybe already have them. But that to me is just so much fun. That's the best of tech and history all combined, and putting it all together like that. That's fun.
So cool.
And you're so right. Like in Italy, I mean, there's endless ways you could use that there in Italy. Yeah, pretty cool use case of that, and just to have it out there for free. Too.
Yeah, Greg, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I mean, I didn't know that, so I'm definitely gonna do that. And I know many of you probably were jumping. Brian saying this is so cool. Crossix Spider is saying Greg can read Greek. I didn't know that. I didn't know that either.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, let me just translate that real
I'm
quick.
sure Greg has a tool for that.
Yeah, I do know a tool. Yeah, there are tools for it. Yeah, that's so that I thought was just interesting to let everybody know about it. You know, whether you're into history or not, or just want to check out something cool, or for kids, whoever, kind of something for everybody. And then the last thing that I have here, which was again, you know, just seeing some interesting ways of how this kind of tech is going to progress and where we're going to go with that. So that's looking at it through an app. Like you're going there, you're experiencing it, but really you're just looking at these images. It's very, very cool. A lot of companies are working on VR to where you can actually touch and feel something like that with haptic feedback. And this is not the first example of this that's ever been out there. I've tried some different haptic things before at CES where it was
Nintendo used to have this.
Yeah.
Remember the Nintendo Wii?
Are you talking about the Power Glove?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember even when you play tennis, it would be like.
Yeah. So this is only to the next level. So this is coming from Facebook, and as we all know, or Meta, as the company is now known. So Meta, they want to create the Metaverse, which the easiest way I can describe it is kind of like Ready Player One, you know, for a VR world where you can interact in there. And this is an example of something they're working on. They're not the only one to work on this kind of thing. And there's actually a company that's saying this tech looks very similar to theirs called Haptics. Just want to put that in there. But regardless, this is a glove that gives you the feeling and the pressure of actually picking something up. So they're showing the demonstration.
Fun.
So that's a virtual ball, but in her hand, it feels like an actual solid object. You can feel the weight, you can feel texture to some extent. And I love this idea of
we need to try this. We totally need to try this.
I would love to get my hands on this.
After our show, we could go like,
right? Know. Yeah. That like, look, I mean, they're doing a thumb wrestling, you know.
Yeah, we could thumb wrestle on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the tech behind it is really interesting. They're essentially
we can play Jenga.
Yeah. Right? You can do all this with these gloves. These aren't something that you're going to be able to get your hands on right away. I think I see the pun there. But it will eventually. This will be something that will did that on purpose, sure. But yeah, see how it looks right there. So these are little bladders, essentially. It looks
like centipedes.
And they're using these fluids to pump that up and provide the pressure. So there's a whole bunch of them on there. Eventually you're going to need, they said you're going to need processors for these things, but that's how they're doing it. So it's actually just putting little bits of pressure in different places, and doing that, they can recreate some of the feelings that you would get.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's pretty fun.
Crazy.
Now imagine once they get to the point where
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's where we're heading with all that stuff. Eventually
that's where we're headed. So we're going to be moving blocks around and like basically, I mean, I feel like this technology is designed so we can all live in bubbles and like not leave our bubbles.
There's good and bad with this. So there's definitely some discussions around that.
I mean, playing Xbox, playing with, fake hands with fake balls and fake Jenga. Like, we'll just basically never leave the bubbles ever again.
Yeah. I mean, and I was seeing some of the comments there too, Sadiq saying it's old technology, and it is. This is, I mean, as far as people have been working on this, for quite a while. There's a lot of companies that are doing this, and I've tried out some haptic feedback things, before too. But this is kind of taking their example of how they're going to be using it as they're building this out. But yeah, the way that it's working, I don't know. It's pretty interesting to think about that. This eventually will be something that we all have if we want it. Or
really cool.
You can go outside and experience the real world too.
I mean, I guess that's fun. I mean, you could play like virtual chess with people, right, all over the world. I can see you could do different variations of it. Maybe at some point, if you need to use sports and it's not conducive, maybe you can play tennis or ski in the comfort of your own home if you can't go somewhere that you could do all this stuff. I can see different applications of this, I should say.
Yeah. The video game capabilities would be fun. Now combine that with the ancient Greece app. You walk around, you can I don't know, poke the statues or whatever he would do. But it's so there's
That's
lots
a
of cool
great idea.
things, you know.
Great idea, Greg. Great idea.
But that's what I had. So these were some of the big announcements that they had this week. And again, you know, not a ton of stuff going on, but definitely some interesting things to think about and like, you know, thought provoking on where things are going.
I think it's super interesting. I think it's really helpful, and I love to learn this stuff because you don't know what these companies are working on until Greg tells us. So these are things we can kind of look forward to. Plus, if you're a business owner or even in the media, this is stuff you want to know because you can sort of position and think about the trends of the future and how your business or how your work sort of fits in that category too.
Yeah. And just, you know, this whole metaverse or online world where everybody's trying to take people and where it's going to be going in the next, you know, say decade. It's something to think about. You know, what kind of opportunities are there? What are the pitfalls? Just big topics, but
we're just living in a meta world.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So you're a meta boy and I'll be a meta girl. I mean,
guess so.
I guess in a meta world. And all of you are too. Sadiq, you're a meta boy and Cross-X Fighter. I don't know. It's interesting times, but like actually it's really fun. I really like this episode. I love that app you showed me. I'm definitely downloading that thing ASAP.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I lost too much time yesterday when I should have been working, going messing. Like, well, this is research purposes. I should probably go check out this temple. I can assure you, it's pretty fun.
You know what? I just feel like you just made everybody who's watching right now, and those of you watching on replay as well. Greg just made us the coolest kid at the Thanksgiving table. I'm pretty sure going to be pretty popular that day. I can see everyone like, oh, let me try that. So very cool. Thank you, Greg.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, next, I was going to say too, you know, we're going to be back on Monday.
Special episode. Monday. Keep it like, make sure to keep on your calendar. Sadiq Cross-X Fighter, we definitely want to see you there. Brian, definitely please join us on Monday. You know, we normally don't go on Monday, but what day are we going, Greg?
Monday.
Wait, yes, we're going Monday. Yes, Monday. That's right. Hello, Monday. Okay, so we will go. I think we're going to be at the same time, 2:30 Pacific. For those of you joining us on the East Coast, 5:30. You know.
Yep. Set your calendar for it, and you know, hit subscribe on all these platforms, and I'll have some previews of some deals for Black Friday. But if you have any suggestions or questions or something you want covered for that show, just get a hold of us. You can write me on Twitter, write me on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever. And we will, you know, I'll be happy to like cover whatever it is or answer any questions. Or if I can't, I'll lead you in the right direction to get the answers. And I think it'll be a fun show on Monday.
I think it will definitely be a fun show. So Greg said we're going to bring us some things that should be on our radar that, you know, if we're going to Black Friday. And I'm definitely going to bring you some tips and tricks on how to make sure you can stretch your wallet too. So I think we're going to team up on that to make it really special. So that should be fun. Brian's already hashtagging us. I know. Nice. So Monday, right? Meta Monday, Brian. I feel like we're in a meta world on a Monday.
Yeah. Right. I know. I can't believe Thanksgiving's already almost here. That's just
weird. My goodness. Right. I know. I shared that on Twitter. Those of you who follow me probably saw. I was like, what? December is already here. I couldn't believe I actually scheduling an appointment with somebody to do a Zoom, and I booked, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're gonna meet in December, and that's like only a week ago.
Crazy.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. Yeah, very crazy. But on the other hand, I want to take a moment and just say, you know, we're going to Thanksgiving, and that just gives us another reason to be so thankful for all of you. I'm so grateful for you, Greg, for this friendship, and of course, doing this show together, and everybody here with us.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. It's great being here with you, you know, every week, and just everybody who joins in for this show and follows, and everybody new who's finding it now too. So thank you very much for being a part of it. This is fun. Being interactive like this and getting to hear, you know, people's comments or see people's comments rather as we go through the show. So thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks for being a part of it.
Thank you so much, Curtis.
For big thank you to Curtis.
Yes, thank you. We are so thankful. But with that, you know, like Greg said, make sure to hit subscribe, put in a calendar, share the show with your friend, and we will see you on Monday.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.